The crowd at Hayward Field was left stunned when 16-year-old Cooper Lutkenhaus stormed through the men's 800 meters in 1:42.27 at the US Championships in Eugene on August 3, 2025. The time shattered the under-18 world record and instantly placed a high school junior among America's fastest men ever. Cooper Lutkenhaus is just 16 years old, and he has already rewritten the record books. He runs for Northwest High School in Justin, Texas. He has been coached by his high school coach, Chris Capo, for years. He signed with Nike and is represented by Flynn Sports. But despite going pro, he is staying in school. He just started 11th grade in August 2025. On August 3, 2025, at the U.S. Track and Field Championships in Eugene, Oregon, Cooper did something unbelievable. He ran the 800 meters in 1 minute, 42.27 seconds. That time broke the under-18 world record by a big margin and became the 4th fastest 800 meters ever by an American. He passed 2 world champions and nearly caught American stars. Coach Steve Magnus called it the most impressive athletic feat in history. Even Donavan Brazier said, "This kid's phenomenal." Cooper's 142.27 was more than just a personal best. It was a demolition of records many thought untouchable. The under-18 world best had stood for years, held by Kenya's Timothy Cheatham at 143.15. Cheatham himself was an Olympic medalist, so the mark carried weight in the sport. For Cooper to erase it by more than a full second at only 16 was shocking. The performance didn't just put him on the map, it rocketed him into history books. His time now ranks as the 4th fastest ever by an American, behind only Bryce Hoppel, Donavan Brazier, and Josh Hoey. Globally, it sits as the 18th fastest in history, which is almost unthinkable for someone still in high school. A year earlier, this exact time would have stood as the American record itself. Suddenly, the boy from Texas was not just competing with professionals, he was rewriting their standards. Do you think a teenager breaking times once set by Olympians proves a new era is here? In just a few weeks, Cooper Lutkenhaus will do something no American has ever done before. On September 16, 2025, at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, he will step onto the track at only 16 years and 272 days old. That makes him the youngest American ever to compete at a world championship. Before him, Mary Cain held the record, turning professional and racing at 17, while Arion Knighton, the sprint sensation, became the youngest American boy at 18. But Cooper has now broken both milestones, taking the torch even earlier. This achievement alone cements his name in U.S. track history, even before he runs his first World Championship race. The fact that he will be representing Team USA while still enrolled in high school is extraordinary. When he walks into the stadium, he will not just be a teenager from Texas, he will be America's youngest hope on the world stage. How young is too young to carry the pressure of representing your country? Turning professional so young is often risky. Many athletes buckle under pressure when money, sponsorships, and new expectations arrive too fast. But Cooper Lutkenhaus seems to have found a rare balance. In late August 2025, he officially signed with Nike, making him the youngest American ever to go pro in track and field. But instead of changing everything around him, Cooper made a different choice. He decided to keep things familiar. He will still live at home, still go to Northwest High School, and still train with his longtime coach, Chris Capo. His agent, Ray Flynn, explained that this was key. Cooper is comfortable with his decision, and comfort can mean survival in a high-pressure sport. By refusing to uproot his life, Cooper has taken control of his future in a way few teenagers could imagine. He is both a student and a professional athlete, two worlds that rarely collide. The power of Cooper's run at the US Championships becomes even clearer when you realize who was in that race. Across from him on the line were some of the biggest names in American middle-distance running. Bryce Hoppel, the national record holder with a 141.67, was there. Donavan Brazier, the 2019 world champion, was there too. And so was Josh Hoey, fresh off his victory as the 2025 World Indoor Champion. These were established stars, the faces of U.S. track. Yet it was Cooper, 16 years old, still technically a schoolboy, who finished second in the race. His time of 142.27 not only beat some of them, it would have won Olympic gold in almost every 800-meter final ever run. except for the historic showdowns of 2012, 2016, and 2024. For a teenager to run in that territory is almost unimaginable. Yet Cooper did it with confidence, control, and astonishing speed. If Cooper can already challenge world champions at 16, where do you think he'll be by 20? To understand how Cooper got here, you have to look at his roots. Running runs in his blood. His father, George, was a state runner-up, showing early that the family had talent in the sport. His brother, Andrew, also raced at a high level, setting the stage for Cooper's own development. By the time he was in middle school, it was clear he was different. Coaches noticed not only his natural stride, but also his mental toughness, something rare in such a young athlete. By 8th grade, he was already clocking times that would beat many high school seniors. Soon, he was invited into Nike's elite mentorship program for standout high schoolers, giving him access to resources and training most kids could only dream of. Yet despite this, Cooper's family kept him grounded. They encouraged him to remain focused on school, humility, and hard work. That steady support has been his anchor through rapid success. Now, all eyes turn to Tokyo. On September 16, 2025, Cooper Lutkenhaus will line up for his first-ever World Championship race. It will be the men's 800 meters, one of the most brutal events in track and field, and he will be the youngest American in history to do so. The pressure will be enormous. He will be racing against Olympic medalists and world champions, athletes who have trained at the highest level for a decade or more. Yet Cooper approaches the challenge with a calm confidence. His team says he doesn't feel nerves in the same way others do. He simply loves to run. Tokyo could be the moment he shocks the world again, perhaps even advancing deep into the rounds. Or it could be his first taste of global competition, a valuable lesson before future Olympic runs. Either way, the stage is set for history when he steps on the track. Cooper isn't the only young athlete rising fast. Youth track is exploding worldwide. For instance, 16-year-old Japan's Serato Shimizu ran 10.00 in the 100 meters. Australia's Gout is rewriting sprint history too. Young athletes are taking the world by storm. Does this prove that age doesn't matter when talent and work come together? Should Team USA expect more from high school athletes in future? Are schools ready to support students who compete at this level? It's amazing. A 16-year-old is outpacing legends. He's balancing school and pro life. He's breaking records that many athletes never touch. It shows us that even the tallest walls can be broken by someone young, focused, and brave. Cooper Lutkenhaus isn't just fast. He's rewriting the story of what's possible in sports. At 16, he's already among America's fastest, yet he remains grounded in school with the same coach. His dreams will go on and maybe reach gold in Tokyo. This isn't just a run. It's a message. The next generation isn't waiting. They are here. Will Cooper soar further? Will he win in Tokyo? And what does his rise mean for the future of U.S. track? If Cooper's story excites you, hit subscribe and tap the bell, because for the fastest 16-year-old in American history, his best finish line might still be ahead. Cooper Lutkenhaus is not just a high school track athlete. As of August 3, 2025, he is one of the fastest 800-meter runners in American history. At just 16 years old, the Northwest High School sophomore from Justin, Texas, shocked the world at the USATF Outdoor Championships in Eugene, Oregon, by finishing second with a time of 1 minute 42.27 seconds. Not only did he break the world under 18 record by more than 3 seconds, he also became the 4th fastest American of all time in the event. The only men ahead of him, Bryce Hoppel, Josh Hoey, and Donavan Brazier. The 800-meter final at Hayward Field had already promised fireworks. Donavan Brazier, once seen as America's best middle-distance hope, was back after nearly 3 years plagued by injuries and surgeries. Brazier had something to prove, and his blazing 142.16 to win the race was a comeback for the ages. But just behind him, Lutkenhaus had stolen the show. His jaw-dropping surge from the back of the pack and near sprint down the final 100 meters turned heads across the globe. To appreciate how wild this was, you have to understand where Lutkenhaus came from. As recently as June 3rd, his personal best was 146.86. That alone was considered elite for his age. Then came the Brooks PR Invitational on June 8th, where he ran 146.26, breaking a nearly 30-year-old high school record. Less than 2 weeks later, he clocked 145.45 at the Nike Outdoor Nationals, smashing his own record. So by the time the national championships arrived, he was already on fire. But no one expected this. The race itself was pure chaos. Reigning indoor champ Josh Hoey took out the pace fast, going through 400 meters in 49.29. Lutkenhaus wisely held back in 7th, cruising through the bell in 50.66. He trusted his closing speed, and that decision would define the outcome. With 150 meters left, he was still trailing a field of Olympians and national champions. But then, something switched. He moved like a bullet on the final straight, passing Brandon Miller, Bryce Hoppel, and almost catching Brazier at the line. That final 200 meters, clocked at 25.42 seconds. For comparison, that's closing speed you typically see from 400-meter specialists, and Cooper did it after 600 meters of all-out racing. The crowd at Hayward Field exploded. People weren't just impressed, they were stunned. Even Brazier, fresh off his emotional comeback win, made a beeline to hug the teenager who had just shattered records behind him. What Lutkenhaus accomplished wasn't just historic for his age. His time would have ranked as the American record just a year ago. He's now ahead of legends like Johnny Gray and just fractions behind Olympic medal contenders. Globally, he ranks 18th all-time in the 800 meters at any age. But what makes this story even more incredible is the poise and humility Cooper shows off the track. A product of a family steeped in education and athletics, his dad is an athletic director and his mom a middle school principal. Lutkenhaus is as grounded as they come. Teachers and teammates describe him as driven but humble, and Northwest ISD released a statement lauding his dedication and character. His coach, Chris Capo, has only been working with him for about a year, but the synergy is obvious. Capo implemented a training regimen focused on endurance, race awareness, and mental preparation. "We put all our faith in each other," Capo said. "This was a perfect match." That trust has yielded results most professionals would envy. The praise from track legends poured in immediately. Michael Granville, whose high school record Lutkenhaus obliterated, joked, "I said what? I did not know how to do the math." He added, "That's a young man following his coach and executing perfectly. There's more left in him." Make no mistake, this wasn't a fluke. Lutkenhaus advanced through his prelim and semifinal at the USATF Championships with strategic confidence. In the semi, he even stumbled past the 400-meter mark but still finished second in his heat. That earned him a place in the final, making him the youngest man ever to qualify for the U.S. national final in the 800 meters. And let's talk about the field he beat. Josh Hoey, the world indoor champion and undefeated against Americans this season, finished 4th. Brandon Miller, an Olympian, ran a personal best and placed 5th. Bryce Hoppel, who set the American record at the 2024 Olympics with a 141.67, could only manage 3rd. Lutkenhaus outkicked them all. The track community went wild. On social media, tweets comparing his run to elite equivalents in other events circulated rapidly. One viral tweet equated his 800-meter time to a 200-meter in 19.75, a 400-meter in 43.88, or a mile in 345.6. Insane numbers for a high school sophomore. Now, Cooper is Tokyo-bound. The World Athletics Championships take place September 13th to 21st, and Lutkenhaus will be the youngest American to ever compete at the event. The question isn't whether he'll be competitive, it's how far he can go. Could he make a final? Medal? Set another record? Lutkenhaus begins his junior year of high school on August 13th, just weeks before heading off to race against the fastest men on Earth. His focus remains on school and training. "Just making the team, running that fast this young, it's special," he said after the race. From a Class 6A state title in May to world-class status in August, Cooper Lutkenhaus has crafted one of the most meteoric rises in American track and field history. And he did it without flash or hype, just sheer work, discipline, and belief. So what happens next? If his current trajectory continues, the name Lutkenhaus might soon be spoken in the same breath as the greatest middle-distance runners of all time. And if you think this is the peak, think again. This 16-year-old is just getting started. Make sure to subscribe and follow for more updates as we track Cooper's journey to Tokyo and beyond. And drop a comment. Where do you think he ranks among the greatest teen athletes in U.S. track history? This is the new standard, and his name is Cooper Lutkenhaus.
Trayvon Bromell's running away with this one at the moment. Good running on the inside from Assembly. But Trayvon Bromell storming this one and destroying that field. And look at the time, 9:84.
At the 2025 Rome Diamond League, Trayvon Bromell didn't just win a race, he declared war on doubt. Blazing down the straight in a stunning 9.84 seconds, Bromell ran the world's fastest 100-meter time of the year. But this wasn't just about numbers. It was about redemption, resilience, and reshaping the story that most believed was over. His performance left no room for interpretation. He didn't just beat the field, he crushed it. Emmanuel Assimi was left trailing at 9.99, Kenya's Ferdinand Omanyala clocked 10.01, and 2022 world champion Fred Kerley faded to 5th. Bromell's message was loud and clear. Count me out, and I'll remind you why I was never gone. For Trayvon Bromell, this comeback didn't start in Rome. It started in pain, in silence, and in shadows. At just 30 years old, Bromel's career has already felt like multiple lifetimes. Born in St. Petersburg, Florida in 1995, he was a prodigy long before he had a pro contract. In high school, he ran a wind-assisted 9.99, sending shockwaves through the sprinting world. That was no fluke. In 2014, while competing for Baylor University, he became the first junior to legally run under 10 seconds, clocking 9.97. That same year, he was named Most Outstanding Performer at the Texas Relays, joining the likes of Michael Johnson in track folklore. His 2014 season was electric, and he capped it with a USA Track and Field Junior Championship and a gold medal in the 4x100 meter at the Pan American Junior Championships. Bromel's collegiate career was short, but legendary. In 2015, he ran a personal best of 9.84 at the US Championships and made the World Championship final, where he tied for bronze with Canada's Andre DeGrasse in one of the most iconic photo finishes ever. His sprinting was explosive, his form precise. The future looked inevitable. But 2016 brought heartbreak. At the Rio Olympics, he made the 100-meter final, finishing 8th. In the 4x100-meter relay, he anchored Team USA and appeared to win bronze, only to tear his Achilles diving at the finish line. Worse still, a botched exchange led to Team USA's disqualification. Bromell was devastated. That injury led to multiple surgeries, years of rehab, and a long stretch away from the sport. Between 2017 and 2019, he raced sparingly, often in pain. The media forgot him, but he never stopped believing. 2021 was the year he reminded the world. He won the US Olympic trials in 9.80 seconds, a world-leading time. In Tokyo, however, heartbreak struck again. He failed to make the Olympic final, missing it by just 1 millisecond.
A foot out of the field there. Gatlin trying to go with him, and on the near side, Omanyala. Omanyala trying to dress, but he's come back to him.
Still, he roared back later that year at the Kip Keino Classic, running a stunning 9.76 at altitude, the fastest time of his life, and one of the fastest ever recorded. 2022 brought another high point. At the World Championships in Eugene, he finished 3rd in the 100 meters, reclaiming a spot on the podium alongside Fred Kerley and Marvin Brazier. That medal meant everything. It was proof that after all the surgeries, setbacks, and doubts, he still belonged among the world's best. But even then, the critics lingered. Could he stay healthy? Could he peak at the right moment? That's what made Rome 2025 so special. Coming in just days after Kenny Bednarek's 9.86 world lead, Bromell obliterated the mark with his 9.84. What made it even more incredible was how effortless he made it look. His start was textbook, reaction, explosion, and drive. Midway, he extended his lead with every stride, and at the finish, he was cruising, not straining. That composure under pressure is the mark of greatness. Behind that relaxed form is a violent mix of power, technical execution, and lightning reflexes, honed over years of pain and persistence. Behind that performance is a grueling routine. Bromell trains under Rana Rader in Jacksonville, Florida, alongside other elite sprinters. His daily regimen includes explosive weight sessions, endless block drills, and technical refinement. Every aspect of his body and form is analyzed, tweaked, and pushed, but it's his mindset that sets him apart. Bromell has openly discussed his faith, crediting his resilience to God and a purpose that goes beyond medals. His comeback is not only athletic, but spiritual, a mission of proving what faith, discipline, and consistency can accomplish. Off the track, Bromell is thoughtful, humble, and driven. He's a role model to young athletes, often speaking about overcoming adversity, mental health, and staying focused when nobody's watching. He understands the pressure of the spotlight, but chooses to operate from a place of peace. That clarity shows in his racing. No theatrics, no mind games, just blistering speed and business-like execution.